Hey y'all, Hubcap Dylan here. I'm trying something new and I'm calling this segment Car Culture and Coffee. So welcome. But I thought it'd be something a little fun and kind of show some stuff. I talked about it before in some of my previous videos about showing some of the stuff I have. So tonight I thought I'd start off with something that's kind of a little special to me. We had acquired a piece of property in Oregon when I was a kid. There were some outbuildings full of stuff. I don't know what all was in there because we didn't have the place long enough to really see what all there was. But anyways, this is one thing I did end up bringing back with me from one of my trips over there. This black on aluminum Idaho license plate came out in 1948, and then the red on aluminum tag was used the next year in 1949. And it still has most of the potato on it. You could kind of see the butter, and it's not in the best shape, but this is one I would not want to restore. I've had this a long time and I want to hang on to it and I want it to keep it the way it is. And it's just plain aluminum on the back. Of course, it's stamped World Famous Potatoes. We won't talk about my hubcap collection and 63 Nova speedometer. We won't even go there. Then, since we're in that era in the late 40s, I'll show you this is another tag, black on aluminum. They used this in 1949, but can you guess what state this came from? Oh yeah, I'm not going to reveal that now. I'll wait until the next Car Stuff and Coffee to give you that answer, but if you know, please feel free to plop it down in the comments. All right, I got my coffee here. I don't call this Car Stuff and Coffee for nothing. Got the Christmas mug. Still wintertime, so. Just had some delicious brownies I'd made with some brownie mix I'd got at Costco. It was like, I'd have to look at the name of it, but it's kind of like the chocolate you'd get during Christmas, the chocolates. And so my next thing I wanted to show was this Motor Age catalog. It was published by Chilton Publications. You're probably familiar with Chilton repair manuals that you would see in the auto parts stores. It's got a cool looking cover. For some reason, this guy makes me think of Ernest Borgnine. I don't know about you, but makes me think of someone off of a movie or something. And then there's well, it looks to be a pinup, but it's actually a mannequin. Kind of creepy, but it's still a cool little cover. And it's called Motor Age. So I thought we'd just go through it a little bit. I don't know if we'll get through the whole thing, but we'll look through it. And I might show this in another video, but anyways, let me take a sip of coffee here. Gotta have some more coffee. So let me get this over here. I have to adjust the camera a little bit. All right. So we're gonna start out here for Hastings spark plugs. Let's move it over here. Excuse me, I don't have the best setup here, but it works for what I'm doing right now. And we have Hastings spark plugs, Aero type spark plugs, featuring aluminum oxide insulator. And here's a new spark plug that costs more, yet actually saves money. Okay, that's interesting. $1.25. Back in that day, $1.25 was quite a bit, back in 1948. X-ray inspected, aircraft insulator, HT aluminum oxide, 3-segment electrode, and performance rated. Anyways, we'll move on to the next. I'll show you this. I'll show you first. You can see that. Got these little Bic ballpoint pen looking professors on there. Then they have the essential leak-proof pressure-tight automobile assemblies. This is like the make a gasket type stuff, or gasket maker, whatever you call it. Just really neat going through these old ads. Moog or Moog, I don't know. A great name in automotive maintenance. There was no law against it, says 3 o'clock Charlie, whoever that was. It says DeSoto, what this is all about. And this is actually a DeSoto ad. You can see right here. And where are we at next? We'll move on. I apologize if I'm passing up something you might have seen. Motor Rhythm, a tune-up formula by Wiz. Products of Hollingshead, leader in maintenance chemicals. This is a cool one for Dodge. Dodge Plymouth Dodge Job Rated Trucks. Dodge division of Chrysler Corporation. Top team in the big league. That's a pretty neat ad. And then you got Ditzler paints and their other products. Glass, you can see here. Paints, glass, chemicals, brushes, and plastics. Save compounding and polishing time with Ditzler's 2-star materials. Now here's one for the Willys Overland's latest edition, the Jeepster. For you that's into these, or Jeeps and Willys and all that, for all the Jeep people out there. The newest member of the Jeep family to be announced by Willys Overland Motors of Toledo, Ohio, is Jeepster, a sports phantom. A couple of ladies on here, and kind of that, I don't know if you'd say pin-up, but vintage glamour, or whatever you call it. It has a few little articles, kind of like they have in like the Hot Rod magazines. This is a little feature on miniature speed demons. I don't know about y'all, but this is kind of fun to look through and kind of see simpler times. This is kind of cool. This guy's got a, I don't know if you can see it or not, but he's got a toolbox and got his little miniature speed demon. Look like they're injecting their fuel. It says that alcohol was already in the tank and castor oil was added by using a medical measuring instrument. You can see right there. That's pretty cool. And then there's the next page. Well, I wouldn't call this a pinup. This is Esther Williams, who was an actress. And this is of a scene from a movie called On an Island with You. That's pretty cool. So I've looked through some of this before, but didn't realize it had all these articles and stuff like that. Just kind of a little bit of a variety. Here's some different pictures. That's a cool car right there. It's a custom car built by Bruno Mackey of Fitchburg, Massachusetts. This kind of makes me think of some of the YouTubers I watch. It has the old cars like this. And here's a Los Angeles gas station. I like the old gas station pictures, and there's a lot to look at. I'm just kind of like say speeding through this, and thermoid brake lining. They made all different other stuff. They made radiator hoses and fan belts. I'm kind of into collecting gate stuff. I have a belt rack from Gates. And then I've got a few little charts and advertisement type pieces that I'd like to display with it. There was a local repair shop that closed down in Parma, and they had a bunch of Gates stuff, but I'd already been to an estate sale earlier that day and decided that I'd spent enough, and plus I need to do some work on the old Ford. There's going to be some content out on that. I had some content, but unfortunately I lost some of it. We're trying to clear out some of my iCloud. And now this is awesome. I've never seen a vintage ad for Snap-on tools. Now that is pretty cool. Oh, and look at the cool patch. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the Ford V8. Here's one for the Crosley, a fine car. There was a Crosley dealer had opened 2 branches in less than 2 years. Stromberg, a carburetor repair kit made by Bendix. Well, that's pretty cool right there. Because you hear a lot if you watch some of these videos, you hear a lot about the Strombergs and Nampa. Well, definitely we have the Nampa auto parts around here. Actually, while I'm at it, give me a moment. Since I didn't plan on showing this, this is kind of sudden. You got Nampa, National Automotive Parts Association, if you can read that right there. And I got this old truck. It's one of the coin banks. Doing my other channel things, long story there. Anyway, I had been to the Redmond swap meet, and I got this at one of the antique stores in Redmond. Made me a pretty good deal on it. It's got the box, and you could see the boxes on the inside. And I thought that was pretty neat. I'll just move him over here. How to get rid of exhaust gas fumes in garage buildings. Inexpensive solution to a serious garage ventilation problem. It's these kits that, I guess it's like a plumbing system. I don't know if you can see this or not. And a guide lamp. You see these in the antique stores and even the swap meets. So if you'll watch one of my previous videos, it's one of my first videos. It was in my first official pick, and I got a couple of Mazda floodlights that were on some of the old Sinclair trucks that the lady's grandpa, the lady who I bought them from, her grandpa had them on his trucks. I believe they come off of his trucks. And we hooked one up to the battery. For an 80-year-old pair of lights, they sure had the power, about blinded us. Here's a Buick Roadmaster. First of all, I'll show you this. This is Libby Owens Ford Glass. And that's at a Studebaker lot. I don't know if you see the Studebaker sign. And then we will show the Buick Roadmaster. 48 Buick Roadmaster. What makes a car fine? Anyways, get some car advertisements out of this. Here's one for Motorola car radios, auto radios, custom built. And that looks like an advertisement for a suspense thriller. Packard ignition cable set. I'd like to have that display right there. That would make a good episode. Inland tires. Where they had the tire ashtrays. I went to an estate sale in Boise, and this guy had, was it over 600 tire ashtrays, maybe even more. I got like a couple of them, and I should have went back for some on half price day. Kelsey Hayes wheels, the Hudson, low, wide, and handsome. The only car you step down into. And you got the emblem. Who doesn't love a good car ad? Spinning globe power, another battery, globe union, and robustus brake lining. It takes a combination. And there's a tool I never heard of, New Britain. And Napa Auto Parts. Greater strength, better fit, hand tools. Can't beat the old stuff. So I think we're going to end it with this one. The Comet Sky Shield. It's a visor for your car. $17.95. You're not going to get a visor for that these days. Watch one of these days, I'll find a deal and I'll end up saying, I only paid $17.95 for this. At this day and age, you'd be lucky to get an ornament, a hood ornament for that. Well, anyway, that's that. I hope I didn't put anyone to sleep. Oh, and then we got to show this. I guess we're not finished. This is for piston rings, American Hammerhead. And it's got the Daredevil woman. Almost looks like Wonder Woman, but with cowboy boots. Anyways, now we will end it there. I hope y'all enjoyed looking through the magazine and checking out the license plate and the plate tag. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, please plop it down in the comments. And I want to thank y'all for spending some quality time and checking out this video. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to the channel. I'd be more than happy to have you as a subscriber. And y'all take care. Hookup Doing, signing off.